The president and CEO of PBS, Paula Kerger, joins me now to discuss all of this. Paula, thank you so much for being here. I know you and your team are dealing with a lot. First, explain to me what exploring all options means. Should we expect you to file a lawsuit against the Trump administration?
Well, right now, we're actually trying to understand what it is that has been proposed. But yes, I would not rule out the possibility that we would pursue litigation. Look, for more than 50 years, we have been serving our member stations. Remember, we're not a network. I think a lot of people are a little confused about who we are and how we're organized. We were created by our member stations to do for them at scale what individual stations couldn't do by themselves. An individual station wouldn't be able to create a news hour and a Sesame Street and a Mr. Rogers and Ken Burns' great work and Nova and so forth. So we do that together. And so for us, this is quite out of what we have dealt with in the past in terms of discussions about funding for public broadcasting. So we're going to fight this. Obviously, this would have enormous impact on our 330 stations around the country and their ability to provide content to people that enjoy our work and that value our work.
And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is already involved in litigation with the administration when it comes to its attempt to fire members of its board. Do you think or do you expect that the CPB will defy this latest executive order?
Well, I'm not going to speak for the CPB, but certainly we have been talking. We talk almost every day anyway, because of the work that we do on behalf of our stations. And I know that they are aligned with us in wanting to ensure that we're able to do our work. You know, when we were created, we were specifically designed to ensure that there was no influence by anyone, whether that's government or anyone else. And so there is a firewall that protects the funding that comes from the federal government into public broadcasting. It goes to the corporation, which is a private corporation, and they in turn make contributions to our member stations. What this executive order, as we understand it, would not only not allow any of that funding to come to us, but they're also trying to restrict what our local stations are able to do. And that, to me, feels against all of what was hopefully put in place when we were created, which is to ensure that we were able to do our work and to serve the communities across this country that do rely on, whether it's our children's programming or whether it's primetime programming or whether it's even a little All Creatures Great and Small. I mean, we're a variety service and we look at bringing lots of content forward on behalf of the American people.
But there might be many Americans who at least feel they've never watched a single second of your broadcasting, of the programming that you have to offer. What would you say to them when they ask why their tax dollars are going to fund PBS?
Yeah. Well, actually, most Americans do watch us at some time. Many people rely on us for our children's programming. And if for no other reason, that's a powerful argument for funding. Half the children in this country are not enrolled in formal pre-K. But we are here, and we are here with content that's not just safe, but it is also based on key skills that kids need to master before they enter school for the first time, whether that's at age 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Skills of counting and numbers and everything else that they need to be successful the first time that they walk into a classroom that sets them on the path for success in life. That's a critically important part of the work that we do. I think we're all invested in making sure that our nation's children are ready to fulfill their potential. So that's just one argument. A lot of people count on us with our local stations for everything from the Farm Report to a little known fact about public broadcasting, which is we are the backup infrastructure for America's early alert system. It's an investment that the federal government has made because we are broadcasters. We reach every part of this country for free. And we also have a digital infrastructure that allows first alerts to go out. And so there's plenty of arguments of why, even if you don't watch every night, why public broadcasting is a good investment for everyone.
Now, if you lose this federal funding, what impact will it have on PBS and its ability to broadcast? Just how big of a blow would it be?
Well, if we lost all of the funding for public broadcasting, it would impact a number of our stations. You know, we were set up with this idea that we were a public-private partnership. And so for our stations that are in communities that can raise the resources, the percentage of government money that comes into them is relatively small. I've spent a lot of time since I've been in this job traveling and visiting lots of stations in small communities. Those stations would not exist were it not for some support from the federal government. So that's the biggest thing that's at risk. But even as each station looks at its own situation in terms of federal appropriation, we're an interconnected system. And our ability to serve comes from the strength of all. Many of our programming comes from many stations, not just from a studio somewhere on either coast, which I think is what some people believe. Most of our content comes to us from stations. All of that comes at risk.
Yeah. All right. Paula Kerger, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.